If you are a generator or a manifesting generator and you think you're immune to burnout because you have all this energy, we need to talk. Because having a defined sacral does not mean every strategy works for you. It means you have the energy to force a bad strategy to look like it's working way longer than it should. And that's actually more dangerous than not having the energy at all. By the end of this video, you're going to understand the difference between your sacral responding and your sacral being hijacked. And it's a difference that most generators building their businesses have never been taught. I'm Jenna. I'm a human design expert and business strategist, and you're watching the 9 a.m. download on Pajamas and Profits, the channel where we talk about what's actually going on in your business when you're doing all the things and it's still not working. Don't forget, hit that like button, share this video with your business bestie, and if you haven't already yet, be sure to subscribe so you don't ever miss a single download. So I make a lot of content about projectors on this channel, and of course that makes sense because I am one. But today I want to talk specifically to you generators and manifesting generators because I work with you all constantly and I see something happening that nobody is saying. Everyone talks about projector burnout. Everyone talks about how projectors shouldn't hustle, shouldn't push, shouldn't try to keep up with the generator pace. And while that's all true, here's what nobody is talking about. Generators burn out too. Manifesting generators, they burn out too. And when you do, it's a completely different kind of burnout, and it's way harder to recognize because from the outside and maybe even from the inside, it looks like everything is working. A projector who's burning out stops being able to function. They crash. They can't even get off the couch. I know, I've been there. The burnout is loud and obvious and impossible to ignore. So even though it's painful, there's a built-in alarm system that says, stop, something's wrong. Generators don't necessarily have that alarm. You have the energy to keep going. That's your design. Your sacral center regenerates overnight. You wake up and the tank is full again. You can push through a misaligned strategy for months, even years really, because your body will keep giving you fuel even when the vehicle is headed off the cliff. The energy supply masks the misalignment, and that is the generator blind spot. You think because you have the energy to do it, it must be correct, but those are two very different things. Having the capacity to sustain something and having the alignment to sustain it, that's not the same question. Okay, so let me get into something that I think is really critical here, and it's the distinction I promised you at the top of this video. Generators are designed to respond. That's your strategy. Wait for something to show up in your reality and then check your sacral response. Does it get a yes or a no? And uh-huh or uh-uh. And then you follow that response. Simple, right? Except the business world has turned responding into responding to everything, every opportunity, every trend, every new platform, every launch idea, every DM from someone who wants to collaborate, every shiny new strategy your coach shared in the group call. Your sacral is getting pinged all day, every day with things to respond to, and most of them are not actually opportunities meant for you. They're noise. And here's where it gets sneaky. Your sacral can say yes to things that aren't aligned, especially when you're conditioned. Especially when the thing you're responding to is wrapped in urgency or scarcity or social proof or someone else's excitement. You can get a sacral hit that feels like a yes, but it's actually your conditioning responding, not the true sacral response. The difference between a real sacral response and a conditioned one is something most generators have never been taught to distinguish. And it is the thing that determines whether you're building a business from your actual design or from a pattern that just happens to have enough energy behind it to keep moving. A real sacral response has a specific quality to it. It's clean. It doesn't need justification. It doesn't come with a story attached. You don't need to convince yourself. It's just yes or no. There's a clarity to it that the mind cannot replicate. A conditioned response usually comes with some sort of narrative. I should say yes because everyone else is doing it. Or it's a yes because, well, what if I miss out? Or, well, yes because my coach said this is the right strategy. There's reasoning layered on top of it. And that reasoning is your clue that it's not your sacral talking. It's your mind wearing a sacral costume. So here's what I see with generators and manifesting generator entrepreneurs all over and over again. And if this is you, I really want you to pay attention because this pattern is so normalized in the online business world that you might not even recognize it as a problem. You start your business and you're fired up. You've got energy for days. You're creating offers. You're posting content. You're building funnels. You're signing clients and it's working. Things are happening. Money's coming in and everyone around you is telling you how amazing you are and how hard you work and how much you get done. And then slowly, so slowly you almost don't even notice it, something starts to shift. You're still working. You're still producing. The output hasn't changed, but the feeling has. You used to be lit up by the work. Now you're just doing it. It's become mechanical. The excitement's gone, but the schedule hasn't changed. You're still on the treadmill, but you're no longer running because you want to. You're running because you don't know how to stop. And then one day you wake up and you realize you've built an entire business, maybe even a successful one, maybe even a really successful one, that you don't actually want anymore. You just happen to have some energy to keep running it, and you do, because what else are you going to do? You have clients, you have obligations, you have systems, you have an audience. You can't just stop. That is generator burnout. It doesn't look like collapse. It looks like a perfectly functioning business run by someone who's slowly dying inside of it. And because the external metrics all say, well, this is working, nobody questions it, least of all you. The question isn't, do I have the energy to keep doing this? Of course you do. You're a generator. The question is, does my sacral still light up when I think about this? And if it doesn't, if the response has gone flat, if the work that used to give you energy now just takes energy, that is your sacral telling you something has gone off course. And ignoring that signal because the business is working is how generators end up with successful businesses they hate. And if you're a manifesting generator, well, there's an additional layer here that I want to address because I work with a lot of manifesting generators and this comes up all the time. You pivot a lot. You get excited about something, you go all in, you move fast, and then the excitement shifts and you want to go in a completely different direction. And the business world tells you, hey, that's a problem. They tell you, pick a lane, stay consistent, stop jumping around, commit. And look, there is a version of that advice that's useful. I mean, a bunch of unfinished, abandoned ideas isn't going to build a business. Of course that's true. But what I see happening in manifesting generators is they are forcing themselves to stay committed to something their sacral's already moved on from because they think the pivot impulse is a flaw that they need to fix. It's not a flaw. It's how you're designed. The manifesting generator process is to start things, learn from them, and course correct. You're not supposed to map out a 5-year plan and execute it linearly. You're supposed to respond, engage, learn, redirect. The key is discernment. Not every impulse to pivot is your sacral speaking. Some of it is shiny object syndrome. Some of it's boredom. Some of it is conditioning. Learning to tell the difference between a genuine sacral redirection and a conditioned impulse to chase something new, that's your work. And when you get that discernment dialed in, the manifesting generator superpower kicks in. You move fast in the right direction. You collapse timelines. You build things in weeks that take other people months. That efficiency and speed is your design working correctly. But it only works when the direction's actually yours. So here's what I want every generator and manifesting generator watching this to take away. Your energy is a gift. It really is. The ability to sustain, to produce, to show up day after day and do the work, that is powerful. But that power becomes dangerous when it's not directed by a true sacral response, because you have the fuel to sustain anything, including things that are slowly destroying your relationship with your very own business. And the question is never, can I keep going? You can always keep going. That's your design. The question is, does my sacral still respond with a genuine yes to this? And if the answer is no, or if the answer is I don't know anymore because I can't tell the difference between a real response and a conditioned one, well, that is exactly where the recalibration needs to happen. Just because the engine is running doesn't mean you're driving in the right direction. If you want to find out where your business is structurally off, whether it's an offer that your sacral stopped responding to, a pace that's masking a misalignment, or a strategy you've been sustaining on pure energy without ever checking if it's actually correct for you, take the free Business Recalibration for Spiritual Entrepreneurs quiz. It will show you exactly what's actually going on. Links for it are in the description below. That's your 9 a.m. download for today. I'll see you next week.